One of the biggest comments that I get all the time is, why are the property taxes so high here in Houston? And 9 times out of 10 is because of this thing called a mud district. But today I have found a luxury builder building in a place that is not in the middle of nowhere. We are right here in the middle of Katy, Texas. And today I have a community that has a property tax rate of under 2.9% before homestead exemption. And I think that you are going to love the options that you have here. We have two builders. We have Pulte Homes and Perry Homes, one of the fan favorites on the channel. We're going to check out all their models to tell you a little bit more about this community. If that sounds good, stay tuned. All right, now first up, we actually have the developer of this community. We are in Katy Court out here in Katy, Texas, just north of I-10, but we are in what is known as Old Katy, and that's going to play a part in why the property taxes are out here. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but we have two models that they are showcasing here in the community, and like I said, they're also the developer. Typically when that happens, you've seen in other cases like the Mavera community out in Conroe, you typically get a better price per square footage because they are the developer and they don't have to charge themselves a land cost. So we'll see if that holds true out here. The prices are looking pretty great from what I can tell right now. But up first, we're gonna go and check out this Haskell, go over some of the features, and then we'll talk about a little unique thing that they are doing with the lots over here that's a little bit different than everywhere else. But let's go check this Haskell plan out and let me know what you think. And it is an absolutely beautiful day in Houston today, so I had to come and get this footage for y'all because, man, the last week to 2 weeks here, it's been snow, it's been raining, it's been everything that you can ask for but pretty weather. But today it is gorgeous. But enough of that complaining. We're here to look at the Haskell plan, and this one is about 2,000 square feet. When we finish wrapping it up, I'll go over all the stats for you and talk about some of their incentives. But we got that front little, they probably have this categorized as an office, but you technically have a closet in here. So you could probably pick this as a bonus place or make this as like a little movie room. You would probably, just looking at the width of this, be able to get a good queen size bed in here. So definitely not a small room by any measure, full nightstand on side of it. But how they have this angled, probably more suited for an office. You have a full bath on side of it. More storage. One thing Texas is gonna do is they're gonna give you some storage. Mud area. Now all the decorations, ignore that. That's not normal, right? You got to do that. You got to spend your money to get that. But if you want this space done out, we got contractors that can do all of this sort of thing. But that's mostly just paint and trim. Laundry room off of the front door. Again, this would not be normal. What would normally be here is just a little niche with drywall behind you. I'm sure this is an option to add the plumbing and the cabinetry and all that stuff. Most builders have that. That's usually not too expensive because you already have water in the area. You would just need another little spigot over there to make it happen. But super pretty. Pretty kitchen. Open concept, but with it being side saddle, so you're not looking directly at it. I like that tile, that's pretty. So not looking directly at it. 4-burner stove. You have your oven up front, kind of built into the cabinetry, so it's not like a standalone top. It's still in here, but built into the actual cabinetry space. I kind of like that. Standard dishwasher, all the finishes, all the stuff that you can get if you're going to build it from the ground up. What I will ask, Corbin is here. He's the sales rep for Pulte over here. What I will ask is if this community has a package plan to build, or if they have a true design center process to build. I've done it both ways with Pulte, where you kind of go and have a individual line item where you're picking out any and everything. And then I've most recently done it with them where they have like 5 or 6 packages that you can pick from. And one package would, let's say, give you a range hood instead of having a microwave. Others will give you, a different level of countertop or a different kind of cabinet, so on and so forth. So I'll ask him that before I leave, just so y'all know what the deal is over here. But super, super pretty. Super, super pretty. And we'll get back to that part of the living room back there. I saw a little space back here that peekabooed me that I didn't see. So it looks like we have another full bath for this wing of the house. Again, storage kind of everywhere. That's a Texas thing. Linen closet right there. Pretty, super pretty room. We did that in our house. Love the little trim. Shout out to Marissa for being inspired and making us do it, because I think it turns Chan's room up a notch. And so another thing that I'll ask, I'm seeing that these are 8-foot doors. I'll ask them if that is standardized over here or if that is something that is an upgrade. I know for most builders that is an upgrade. So I'll ask them if that is the case, and I'll verify that for y'all. It looks like they have, since this is a 1-story, you don't technically have that Texas game room or niche area that many builders will give you with a 2-story. And so it looks like they've carved out this little flex space in between the bedrooms, kind of like you would do if you had an upstairs space, which I really, really like. So I would keep that bedroom, and actually I would probably make that my office. And then I would make this the media kind of flex game space if we were using this. But pretty, I like the layout. And then they would both share this bathroom space. I like what I'm seeing. Another bedroom. Pretty good size. You would be able to get easily a queen or something in here, just looking at the size of the furniture that's in this room. And then this is a pretty good size closet for this size of home for sure. All right, back into the family room. Go and check this out again. So decorations aside, all of that kind of stuff, trim, you're gonna do that with a contractor. That's something that you would never wanna do with the builder. It's just gonna cost you too much. There are gonna be specialty trades to do that sort of thing at a more cost-effective way for you. This kind of thing, this is furniture that you can build and put together for yourself or buy it. Most of this is just decorations, right? But the space is super flowing. The one thing that is on this size width, this is technically a 45-foot wide product, meaning that the house itself is typically 35 to 40-ish foot wide. And when you have a house that is that width, you typically lose a true like dining space. So you have this dining niche that you would have in between your kitchen and your family room. And that's the trade-off you have when you typically go on this width. But still, I like how much space you have around it. Doesn't feel like it's in the way of any area that we're looking at. This is your view from your back door. Shotgun style, back door straight into the front door. But I actually like one stories that kind of look like this, so that don't bother me at all. Let's go check out the backyard space. Some parts of old Katy that you can see behind you. Other communities that have popped up out in this area to supplement the other communities like a Ellison or like a Cane Island, some of the other communities out on this west side of the world, but north of I-10. And so definitely not in the complete middle of nowhere. You're just what, like maybe 7 minutes from I-10. And so from there, you're probably 5 or so minutes from the Katy Mills Mall and the restaurants and things along I-10. So you're definitely not in the middle of nowhere. But while I'm out here, I want to showcase, and that wind is killing, I want to showcase the width that you're getting on your backyard. So typically, let me go actually get closer to the house so this wind isn't busting us down like that. About to blow away, y'all. So let me hide real quick. So what typically happens is 45 foot products means that the width of your yard on the average size lot in that community is 45 foot wide. Because we have the easement things that we have in Texas, usually for utilities or for a fence line, that means your house is a little bit more narrow. So you'll have a 35 to 40 foot wide house on a 45-ish foot lot. That's typically what happens. What they are doing here that is fairly unique, and they are now the second community to do that. The first one being the video that I showcased last week of that Weston home where they were building a 45 foot product on a 55 foot lot. They are doing that here as well. So what that opens your community up to is being able to have, for example, a 3-car wide garage on any house here because they have smaller houses on wider lots. Typically, a premium thing that people want to do is get away from having like a 3-car tandem. They actually want 3 separate entrances for a garage. And to accomplish that in most communities in Houston, you have to have an oversized lot to be able to do that. But because they have smaller homes on every lot is oversized compared to the size product of home that they're selling, you have that option on every home here to have like a true 3-car garage if you want that. So it's a benefit of kind of doing that Weston cheat code that I thought was only Weston. It looks like Pulte is doing that on their development here in Katy Court. But just something I wanted to point out to you when we go and look at the house next door, because the backyard is angled so wide and the house and the spaces look between these neighboring houses look so wide, they're going to look like bigger houses than they are. But it's because they have gone with a smaller product on basically an oversized lot for every unit here to give you that more space for the flexibility of the 3-car garage. So definitely something that I think is cool. But now let's finish checking out this little patio back here. Nice size, great views from here all the way through to the kitchen and to the front door. Nothing too crazy. This is, I'm imagining, going to be a pretty decent sized lot for this section. But nothing too crazy because, like I said, all of them are a little bit wider, right? All right, let's go check out the rest of the house. More storage. Pretty. It's got the bay window, which I love. This just feels bigger than a 45 foot product to me. It just feels much bigger. Super pretty. So this is kind of where you start to feel it, right? So in a 45 foot product, You typically, other than the Western one that we saw, where you have the tub shower separate sort of thing, you usually have to make a choice in a 45-foot product. And in here, it looks like they chose super shower, but it doesn't look like there would be enough room, at least in here to me. It doesn't look like there would be enough room to have like a full-size tub here, as well as a oversized shower. It looks like you would have to make a choice. And one of the biggest places where you see the sacrifice on this size width of a product is usually in the bathroom. Just because you don't have the width to kind of squeeze everything in there and not make it feel claustrophobic. You kind of have to have a certain design. I think this one does a great job of doing it, and I'm sure they have a plan where you have a smaller shower and a full-size tub. I'm sure they'll have an option, but at this price point, many people choose a super shower over a tub and shower combo. But if you were to try to put them both in here, you know, the tub may come to here on a full standalone tub. And now you have basically that little bit for a shower, right? So just not that much space. That's probably the biggest drawback to a plan of this width. But other than that, I'm not seeing many downsides on this one, guys. This is a pretty house. So we had the room up front, 2 rooms off of the game room in the back. So we got a 4-bed with a flex media space, and it's over 2,000 square feet. So let's go and talk stats now that we have done that, before we go and check out their bigger offering here of a 50-foot product that is on a 60-foot lot. Actually, I think they said 65-foot lot, so even wider. So let's talk numbers that they have. So this is the Haskell plan. It is 4 beds, 3 baths, flex space, 2,029 square feet, and the base price on that is like $409 currently. So that's not bad. When we talk in terms of pricing per square foot, that's a little bit higher than Meridiana currently is for a house that is similar in size. I know I've recently had some clients that were looking to get somewhere around that 2,000 square foot mark recently, and they were at like 375, 380. So I definitely know that this is a little bit more expensive, but when you factor in the fact that the property taxes are so low, it's really a win to be out here and to also be tied to Katy ISD. That's a win. The other part is in terms of incentives right now, they have some great incentives. If you're building, the thing that you can do right now is you can go with up to 6% towards closing costs. You can also have up to 25 or 35K going towards your design center or option selections, depending on which series you pick from. So the smaller would be 25, the bigger series would be 35. And then on inventory, it's going to be on an individual house basis. They basically have what looks like a bunch of houses right now that'll be done within this first quarter of the month. And for inventory, for those that have been completed and been sitting a while, we always know those are the best deals. So if you want to talk numbers over here, let me know. They have a lot over here, but it's going to be on a more individual basis. It's not like we'll give you 20,000 off of this price. They may have some that they've already discounted 30K, and that wiggle room is a little bit smaller. They may have had some that they've only discounted 10, and then we would get a bigger delta to drop it down. So it really just depends on that house. The best deal on the inventory side right now, depending on how you want to use the closing cost and money that they give you, is you could probably get down to under 5% on an interest rate. They're one of the builders offering that in the Houston Metro right now on select inventory homes. So again, we would have to talk through all of those scenarios to make sure what makes the best sense for you. But if you want to go the build route, 6% towards closing costs and stuff like that, in addition to design center and that's hard to beat. That's a lot of assistance for something that is, you know, between 400 and 500,000. That's a lot of assistance to be thrown your way. So that's the first stop. What do y'all think about the Haskell plan? I think I like it a lot. It kind of reminds me of, it's a Perry plan. I can't remember the number on it, but it kind of reminds me of one of the Perry plans, but that unique little pass-through flex space game room in between is kind of similar to a 60-foot Chesmar home that I just toured recently, where it was kind of tucked in between. And Highland Homes has a plan like this also. I think it's their Grantham plan, where they have this little game flex room in between two suites. And I always just thought it was unique and pretty cool, but liking what I'm seeing so far. We got more to see today. We'll also sit down with one of my friends, either Corbin or B or Dominique over there with Perry, once we get to them to kind of talk the overall outlook of the community. We got a lot to see. Stick with me. But yeah, now we're gonna go out into this windstorm and check out the bigger model home that is, I believe it's called the Idale, that they have over here with Pulte Homes. I think it is, I believe I've seen this one before, and you can kind of see what I was talking about earlier. So you see this little, let me get it pointed out. You see this little bump out here? They can do that because this is a 50-foot plan on a 65-foot wide lot. So kind of getting in the wheelhouse of Perry Homes being a 70-foot product, you're getting the same size, if just slightly smaller lots than Perry Homes is giving you over here with Pulte. So let's go and check out this model and let me know what you think. Again, this is the Idale plan. Let's get into it. Through Pulte, peekaboo off the front door in the back. That's what I'm talking about, baby. So this is a big room. Okay. So I believe this one is over 3,000 square feet, maybe like 31 or 3,200 square feet. We'll give all the stats once we have just taken this house in a little bit. Ignore all the decor. Ooh, I like those. I think the missus will like those too. But yeah, all the decor stuff, that's on you. I would never pay them for that, but stuff that you could do, like getting these extra plugs, that's stuff that I would say do through the builder. Get their extra plugs that you need. If this is going to be used as an office, I would probably get a floor plug somewhere in here. Those are the decisions that I would say make with the builder. But all the paint stuff and the light window treatment stuff, that's on you after the fact. I would never go through a builder for that sort of thing. I'm liking that view. All right, so that was office. We have a half bath, guest bath off of the front door, so no one has to go into anyone's private bathroom or bedroom to go to a bathroom rather. All right, so we got the width, right? So remember how in the last home that we were just in, it was a little bit more narrow. So we didn't have necessarily a wall or an area that we could tuck this off of. When back in the day, if they were building this plan, I'm sure that this would have been a closed off room, probably stopping right here to give you a dining room that people would have just known and loved and wanted so bad back there. But in the more modern floor plans, it's more informal dining. But on a width like this, you typically can have it tucked away enough to where it feels like its own separate space and entity. That's one of the things that I don't necessarily love about the house that we have, is that it's still kind of like kitchen table, living room is kind of, it's kind of clunky and a little bit it breaks up the space in a way that sometimes I like how it looks, but many times I just don't necessarily like how it looks. But this one does a great job of giving you a good layout to where your table and things can be off to the side and still kind of out of the way of everything else going on in this room. Good natural light. Nice cabinets with the trim. Got the metal shroud for your range hood. I love those. It's typically an upgraded package to get that sort of thing in a house like this, or in many houses. Like when you go up to Highland Homes, for example, you have to go to like a Classic X kitchen to usually get something like that. And so I would imagine that this would be the same. Waterfall me. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, that's super pretty. And I think I just saw a big old pantry back here. And I did. Okay, so first off, got the mud room. This would be off of your garage that they are using as offices right now. So you would have this off of your garage. Decorative. This would be a blank area typically. You can do this sort of thing after the fact. You could probably pay them to do it, but that's something I would go to a contractor or your own DIY special personally. You go to huge pantry. Now this is one of the biggest pantries that I've seen at a price point that is like this. Huge pantry, but for a house that is 3,000 square feet, you would kind of want a big pantry like this. So I think it fits for sure. And I'm up in here, I'm moonwalking in it. I'm still backing it on up, still backing it on up. Got a long way in here. There's a huge pantry. All right, that's the kitchen though. Gorgeous. Loving everything I'm seeing in here. Loving, loving, loving. Built-in microwave and oven combination. That's, again, once it goes into the cabinets, that's usually an upgrade for most builders as opposed to being straight in front or being one single unit in front and then the microwave just kind of being somewhere else or being there instead of the range hood. So I would definitely say this is probably upgraded, but I like what I'm seeing. Going to the family room. Tile going all the way up to the ceiling. That would 1000% be an upgrade. Oh, that's a bummer. So that means they must have bedrooms over there, but they do give you the Texas 2-story living room that most people that are looking at this kind of house know and love and want. Everybody loves how the living room does that 2-story thing that it does here in Texas. But yeah, I thought that was gonna be a peekaboo on both sides. But I was wrong. We got a slider over here. So that we can get out of this here thing. Sliders typically run you 12 to 15 out here in the Houston metro. And with this being on such an oversized lot, you can kind of just tell that things are gonna be wider. This is gonna feel way wider because you're on a 65-foot lot, technically, over here for a 50-foot product. That might be the cheat code, guys. Finding communities that do smaller products on oversized lots. That might be the cheat code. But loving everything I'm seeing in here so far, super gorgeous. Got the spaces. So we got office, a true office. Did we have a bedroom that I missed down here? So no bedroom yet. So office up front, storage over here, and a bathroom. Then we have kitchen, dining space, and the living room. Okay, so that means all the bedrooms secondary to this one have to be up. But we'll check out this primary real quick. Looks like we got some more storage behind us. Off of the bedroom. And shout out to the person in my comments that was like, stop walking through spaces with it on you. My bad. I had 5 steps. Please forgive me. I had 5 steps just now. Okay, I'm sorry. My bad, brother. Laundry room, not connected to the bedroom, but kind of close. So that might be a hit or miss for some people if they don't want to hear the laundry. If they do a lot of laundry like us, we're pretty much doing laundry every day at this point. So I don't know if the missus would love that it was that close, but when it was time to do laundry, time to fold, time to get it out, that might be beneficial. But if you had to run it overnight or something, that might kind of suck a little bit. So I'll see if they have an alternative for that. First closet. Pretty big closet for a secondary closet. And this is your room, man. This is nice, again, with the bay windows. I think that's a much needed addition for a house of any square footage. I think it just adds a character to the house, so it doesn't just feel like just a box. This is you waking up out your bed in the morning. Don't be like me. Do your blinds right so you don't have that light peekabooing and busting you in the eye every morning. This is the primary bath. So a little galley style. It looks like they went wet room, which before my wife gave me a talking to and letting me know, it was like, that wet room looks cool, but that's a black girl's nightmare. That means we could never take a bath and a shower at the same time. I would have to wait for you. You would have to wait for me. Whatever the situation is, you couldn't have water just flinging and splashing on me, so on and so forth, right? So it may work for some. I like how it looks. I love how it looks, but may not be the most practical. But you have an option that they want to showcase in this community with this plan, Idale, to do a full wet room with the rain shower head and the multiple turn-ons or hardware for turning it on, and got the tub in here and everything's draining towards this drain over here. So you got it. You can get some spa-like features. Get on out of there. Glass is mostly frameless. Nice features, lots of cabinet space, lots of storage in here. Nice tall ceilings in here. Something I'm noticing is that the ceilings are very tall in here. It looks like 11 foot, maybe 12 foot, 11 foot. That's an 8-foot door, so yeah, like 11 foot. This closet it's a whole nother bedroom. This is the size of my San Antonio apartment in here for this closet. Huge, huge, huge closet. You're doing a lot of moonwalking in here. Huge. Huge, huge, huge. Crazy big. So that's the first floor. Not much to see, a lot to see, but not much to see. It was a informal dining. We had an informal dining, family room, laundry, primary bed, bath, huge closets, and the office. Did I say the office already? Office, if I didn't. So now let's go check out the second floor of this place and see what they did on this back side of the wall, since they didn't give me my peekaboo that I love so much on these kind of houses. All right, you got a lot of room up here. Okay. So just a quick pan, that's fresh off the stairs. So it frames and gives you a true secondary living space, game room area. Really big. You got room to kind of do a lot of stuff in this little space. All right, let's get to it. Let's choose to go this direction first. A little office niche. I love when builders do that and they, take a space that may not be big enough to be a bedroom or may not be big enough to be, more storage or anything. When they finish this out and add something like this is a meaningful, useful space to me that I always appreciate. Front door peekaboo. More storage. And then you got your full bath in here. I like that tile. All right, got the other bathroom, or the full bathroom right there. So they're using this kind of like I don't want to say a Jack and Jill, but like that bathroom is going to service the space on this side of the home, it looks like. Another good sized closet. I say walk in. I'm walking in for perspective. The doors did get shorter up here, so they didn't pay for the structural upgrade to have 8-foot doors throughout. The doors get back normal up here. All right. So I got another wing to go down. More storage. Bathroom. Ooh, is that a peekaboo to a media room? What? But y'all know the vibes. We don't walk through a Jack and Jill. We walk around the Jack and Jill, okay? So they know that we're out here touring for real. We're not playing around. We out here getting this content, man. But this is a beautifully done secondary bathroom. It looks like it is serving this wing. So we'll continue on our way on this side of the house to see what we got. More storage. Because why? We're in Texas. And I don't know if Texans just have a lot of stuff or they're hoarders at this point, because closets everywhere. Closets everywhere. Looks like a queen size bed. Got a full desk on side and a full nightstand. Tons of room in this room. So could you get a king in here? Absolutely. If you had an older kid, I think that would be a great size room. Closet not so big. I can still step in it. I wouldn't say it's a walk-in. I ain't walking. I can turn around in it. But they went full big bedroom instead of full big closet on this one. All right. So then we got the last wing. So we got one bed over there, one bed back there. I'm expecting to have one more bed in here. Otherwise, that might be a weird use of space if we don't have another bed back here, because then that would be 3 beds, a movie room, and an office. So that sounds weird. So let's make this turn down this wing and see if they correct my they did. They corrected my weirdness. This is the other side of that Jack and Jill that we ain't walking through, because we don't do that. Why? Because we out here getting this content. We're gonna walk around. I don't think I showed you the linen closet on here the first time I came through, so that's a view of that. We're gonna walk in to this bedroom and save the media room for last. Nice size little bedroom. Guest room, if you will. Same kind of configuration for the closet. Not too big, not too small. And then we make our way into a humongous. Hey, yo. This is big. How big is this house? Man, I'm confused on myself, because I thought this house was smaller than it's presented, but this might be like a 3,300 square foot. We'll check that out at the end, but man, all this paint stuff, you can get them. So I've done a few Pultes in my past where they've painted this like black, just to make it a media room. It's called like a blackout package or a dark out package. And so I've done that, but to get someone to paint it the color you want or any of that stuff, it probably would be cheaper to do it yourself than going through them. But if you're like many of my clients that are maybe moving here or just don't want to deal with being a project manager, then go through the builder to get it done. But all of this other stuff like pre-speakers and all that stuff, that's going to be stuff that you'll get with most people partner up with Home Pro here to do their build stuff. So that would be a package that you would be paying for. It looks like they pre-wired for sconces that they didn't use in here, but those would have also been ads. They pre-wired for a projector. That would have been an ad. So there's a lot of money and things that they've kind of put into this space to make it a true media room. But normally this would basically just either be like a white room or maybe just a full just black room if that's how you chose to do it. But either way, I'm loving what they have done in here, and I wish I had that space in my crib, and maybe you would too. All right, so that is the Idale plan. We're gonna go into the kitchen and talk numbers. We already talked their incentives. We already talked those things. And we'll just see, you know, like, is this something that you'd be interested in? Because this is the model home, if you like this plan, there's a high likelihood that they'll always have one of these or a few of these kind of going at a time. So, you know, don't feel pressured to feel like you got to do something at this exact moment, because that's not how things work. Idale plan. So this is 3210, 4 bed, 3.5 bath, flex room, and a game room. Okay, that's a lot of spaces. Okay, ton of spaces. This one all souped up is probably a little bit higher, but the base for this plan, including that flex room and the game room, is $515, which is crazy because that's even lower than many of the plans out in Meridiana for this size. In the 50-foot section, I know that that's less expensive than Highland Homes for the same square footage. I know that that is less expensive than Perry Homes for the same square footage. If you're building, that is an amazing deal for 3,200 square feet. Yeah, that's crazy. So now I'm scratching my head. It looks like on the 45, the deal may not be as sweet, but on this 50, that's a great value, because that's not much more than we paid for our house, and you're getting like 500 extra square feet. So that's definitely a deal. Now, comparing this to like a Meridiana, because many of y'all have come through and looked at Meridiana because y'all know that I live there. And so the comparison kind of happens a lot. But for the square footage, for the spaces that you get and for what this could look like, this is a great value. If I didn't mention before, the biggest reason why I'm out here is because the property taxes are literally 2.8, I believe 7%. And that is a property taxes dream for new construction, not to mention you are not in the middle of nowhere. The only times that I have seen in the more recent years of touring with clients or going to check out places, I've seen it a couple times in places like the northern edge of Conroe, where there's like not really anything out there. I've seen it in like Willis, where it's like not really anything out there and it's just kind of far and out the way. You are literally minutes away from the Premium Outlet Mall. If you really wanted to try, you're probably 15 minutes from Bridgeland and Town Lake, and maybe at the max 20 minutes to the premium outlet mall of Cypress. You're at a great location where kind of everything is right past 99, where all of this development is happening in the city of Houston. And to be all around that and have a property tax that is lower than my property taxes with a homestead out the gate is a little bit crazy, right? And you're not sacrificing on schools. This is really hard to beat. I had a client reach out to me from YouTube, just like you guys, so I'll give you my spiel later. But they were looking out in this area and they were like, yeah, man, you know, they don't really have crazy amenities or anything like that. We don't necessarily care like that, but we can get the house that we want, and the property taxes are outstanding. I'm just like, what are you talking about? I looked it up and I saw 2.87 on some sections, 2.88 on some sections, and my jaw dropped. And I was like, and you're not in the middle of nowhere. So it's just crazy how this development that popped up in Old Town Katy, and that's the reason why it's so low, is because this area is established and it's not a completely brand new kind of like mud district. I believe this is actually the Katy water system. It's a separate system outside of what some of the other communities out here, like a Ellison, like a Cane Island had, where they had to have specific muds and they had higher property taxes as a result. You don't have that issue here, right? So that's some of the benefits. Now, is this as crazy with amenities? They're gonna have I believe they're gonna have a pool. I'm not quite sure if they're gonna have a gym. I think they're gonna have a pickleball court. If they do and kind of follow the blueprint of what Mavera did, they're gonna have a year-round pool, pickleball courts, lakes and walking trails. I'm looking at lakes and walking trails in front of me. They're gonna have great amenities because Pulte typically does solid amenities in their communities where they are the developer. They don't typically go bare bones. But will it have the multiple amenity centers, and they don't have the square footage? They're going to continue to grow west, and maybe time will tell what that happens and what that turns into. But as it stands right now, you're going to have amenities. It's a simple community, and Pulte as a developer is doing an amazing job, and I like what I'm seeing. But how about you? What you thinking about the Idale plan? What you think about the Haskell plan? Now we're about to go and check out Perry Homes and their 3791 plan, and see what you think about that, because Perry Homes is kind of hitting up the biggest houses in this community. They're the 70-foot products, so they are technically the biggest homes that you can get out here. But we'll see what you think about that model compared to this model, and what you think about the area overall. But low property taxes, pricing on this 50-foot product is insane. That's crazy numbers to be in Katy, tied to Katy ISD in the location that you are to get to where you are. Crazy numbers. All right, so just talked to my guy Corbin, and he confirmed that this is a full-on design center appointment. So it is not a you pick from a package sort of situation like my last Pulte experiences that I dealt with. They do in fact let you go and pick floor, carpet, cabinets, hardware, everything you want. You get that full design experience here with Pulte Homes. So I love to hear that on both the 50-foot and the 45-foot products as well. He did also clarify that they are technically in a mud, but the way that they get around paying that tax is that there were hookups for neighboring communities out here that they tie into directly. They just had the correct number of connections that this neighborhood was close enough to just tap into. And so you get the benefit of these older communities around you giving you a cheaper tax because you just tapped into an existing system. So technically you are in a mud, but you don't pay any of those taxes at the level at which I pay. I believe Meridiana's mud tax was like 1.5% at one point in time. And it comes down over time, so not the hugest deal, but the reason you're getting the discount up front is because you were able to tap into these neighboring communities' mud districts. So just wanted to clarify that. Now we are standing in front of the big old boy for Perry Homes, and I want to know what you think about it. We're going to go in here. We'll talk to either Dominique or Miss B over here to get the incentives and all the stuff that they are offering for you guys right now, but I want you to see this beautiful home and let me know what you think. So before we go in here and see this beautiful Perry home, I just want to say that you've been watching this video probably like 30 to 40 minutes. You still ain't called me. You still ain't text me. You still ain't said that, hey, Aaron, you're my guy. And when the time comes for me to write that contract or go out touring or find my place for me and my family out in Houston, that you're going to be my guy, and that's hurting my feelings. And I'm going to give you a second to fix that. So I'll give you a second. I'll walk around. I'll look at the watch. Time's ticking. But no, in all seriousness, this is a big decision. And I want to help you make sure that this is the best deal for you no matter where it is, whether it's in Katy Court here, whether it's in Ellison, whether it's in Sun Terra, whether it's in Meridiana where I live. I want you to have the numbers in front of you, have the incentives in front of you, and see where the best place is for you. And the only way that I can do that is if you hit me up. On a secondary tip, if you hit me up before you come to any of these builders, there's a high likelihood that I might be able to get in there and get you a better incentive and a better deal than you have currently. Happens all the time. It's not every time, but it happens a lot of the time. In this particular community, they're selling like hotcakes. They can't keep anything on the ground. They have very little inventory. And so the deals that I would set up for you on your behalf will come in different ways. It would come in the way of a lower earnest money deposit. It would come in the higher design center incentive that they would give you than they're offering you on the top end, right? It will come in different ways when the situation is where they're selling a little bit faster than most communities. However, there have been plenty of communities that my clients have gone to and they've said my name and people have given them an extra 5, an extra 10, an extra 15K just for them saying that, hey, Aaron sent me, and me having a positive relationship with those sales teams around the Houston Metro. So I don't want you to miss out on potentially getting that extra money on your pocket just because you didn't say that you were working with me. But again, the only way that you can do that is to put my name down. Every builder is going to basically have some kind of a sign-in card or sign-in sheet. Put my info down, say that Aaron sent me, show them the video. They'll be like, okay, that's my guy. I know who you're talking about. Let's make sure that we take care of you. And again, last time, only way I can do that is if you hit me up, let me do some pre-work for you, or if you show up here by yourself, put my info down and we'll make sure that we got you good to go. But without further ado, let's hop into this beautiful Perry home. Oh, Perry. Pretty. Office off the front door. Pretty standard vibe for Perry. Really nice size. So there's some things that Perry does that I just absolutely love. And it's a few things. It's the things that they give you that are standard features for them. And I'll clarify all this, or verify all this rather, that people charge and upgrade for, typically like 8-foot doors. Hello, it's me. No, I'm just doing the video right now. You want to get on film? What you doing? Come on now. Come on, Miss Dominique, don't do that. All right, so that was Dominique walking in just now, but the like 8-foot doors, that's of recent been like a standard feature for a Perry where other people will charge you for that. The width of the corridor, they have some of the widest corridors and some of the tallest ceilings that builders will give you in the Houston Metro, that I just appreciate because you're not paying any more for that. They typically give you these fixed windows and a lot of natural light that other builders, sometimes you'll have to pay for another elevation to get, but it's a standard sort of thing for them. So lots of stuff that I love from Perry, but let's take a look at what they're giving you. All right, so we got office, got I would say semi-formal, not a true formal because it is separated, but it's not closed in. So I would say semi-formal. cocktail hour kind of thing. Then you got the spiral staircase vibes with the rotunda that most people from like a West End would be more familiar with, but Perry does a lot of homes that does that as well. This is your Christmas tree niche. And this might be the biggest guest bathroom that I have ever seen. So I wonder if they can make this into more storage or something off of this, and they just decided to go with a big bathroom, but this might be the biggest bathroom I've ever seen for a guest bath. Huge. And then you come, and then like I said, these fixed windows are standard. The flooring and things that they typically use in their model are standard. They typically try not to like break the bank because they honestly want you to walk into a home and not feel like you're being duped by what you see in the model. And I will say that that is not the philosophy of most builders in Houston. I do know that these uppers and things, that's going to be upgrades. That's probably an upgraded backsplash. This is for sure an upgraded countertop, but overall, like the things that you would have the most of, like this flooring, like some of these windows, most of that stuff is going to be standard kind of finishes. Because again, they don't want people to feel like they are basically being jerked around. You come in here, show me a plan. The plan has $200,000 in upgrades in them. Then I go and look at the inventory and it looks like trash. They don't want that, so they try to keep it as modest as possible. More stores, because why? Because it's Texas. And this is going to be like an in-law suite. So what I've noticed on a lot of the Perry homes is that their in-law suite is also typically towards the back, at least in a lot of the ones that I've been touring as of late. So you'll have the primary suite will be on the other side of basically the patio, and then the guest suite will be on this side of the patio. Whereas a lot of builders, where that office was up front, that would typically be where most people are going to have their, or actually where this dining room is, that would be where most people's guest room is. But on a lot of the ones for Perry I've been watching as of late or touring as of late, the guest room has been, in-law suite has been back here, which some may like, some may not like, but just an observation that I've made. But mud set shower, that's in the foundation, that is an upgrade. It's not just a pan down there. Decent sized little closet. But yeah, this is gonna be great for an elderly parent, somebody that's just visiting for a little bit, get them in and out. But yeah, great use of space. Another thing that I absolutely love about Perry is that this, I believe, is their standard patio on this plan. And they are one of, if not the best patio doer on a production builder style home that Houston has to offer. It is typically going to be long. It is typically going to be big. It's typically going to feel like an oversized patio that most people would charge you, because most will probably give you a patio that stops here. But what about all this? What about all this space to put the table and to put the TV or put the kitchen and all that stuff? Perry is one of the best, like I said, at doing just like a patio vibe in the metro. For sure. All right, so it looks like they got a couple people that popped in the tour, so we'll take a little pause real quick. I'll be right back. But yeah, super pretty. So now as we get into the primary, Nice natural light. Just how big this space feels. 8-foot doors, nice door style, nice hardware. King size bed. Tons of room on the side. Really nice use of space. Coming to the primary, separate tub over here, shower over there. So not the normal like peekaboo where the shower would be behind it, but I like this layout also. Nice size closet. As mentioned before, all your AV kind of low voltage stuff is Home Pro. So like when we were talking about the movie room for Pulte, same kind of vibe. You go to Design Center and say, I want this kind of tile. Oh, by the way, I want these speakers. I want this wireless connection point, so on and so forth. You'd be picking that all out at the Design Center with both of these builders over here. All right, so that was the first floor. Let's go up to the second story and see what Perry has to show for us today. Love the rotunda. Beautiful, beautiful. Peekaboo, both sides, trying to protect the privacy of the people that ain't my clients in this video. Texas game room. Or could be a media space. Maybe. We'll see. This house is big enough. It should have its own. It does. See? All right. So true game room. Take a little peek around the corner. And you have an actual media room that you can have pre-wired for speakers, pre-wired for projectors, space cut out for a really big TV, whatever you want to do, you would be able to do it with Perry. Yeah, this is a really great size. I love the carpet selection here. It's upgraded carpet, super pretty. It's really nice size rooms. So you got 2 beds down, office, game room, media room, informal dining. Let's go to the second guest suite. Oh, this is pretty. Shout out to the K's. Shout out to the K's. Super pretty. Really good size. Is that Jack and Jill vibes, or is that your closet? Y'all know my stance on walking through a Jack and Jill. Okay. So good size closet. Was there another one in here, or was that the one? I think that was the one. Yes, that was the one. Now we have the other side of the Jack and Jill, so they would have their own individual sinks. Another huge storage in here. And then we have 2 other bedrooms. So go into here, the closet. It's a nice size closet. That's another thing that Perry typically does a little bit better job at, is having nice size closets and storage spaces. Another nice size room. Now this house is 3,800 square feet, so I would expect it to have some of these, but you'd be surprised on some of the closets and storage spaces in houses that are pretty big like this. But yeah, that is the crib for today. So let's go down, talk some of the incentives. I believe they just released their incentives for this month. And we'll talk about what they got to offer over here with Pulte Homes and Katy Court. So as we walk on up, we got Dominique and B here. So it looks like they have a $25K flex where you could either pay for your interest rate, closing costs, or reduction in the home price. I would say that the best use of your funds, 95% of the time, is going to be a reduction in the closing cost or paying down your interest rate, just because you feel that in real time. You know, if you take $10,000 off of a house that is, you know, $700,000, you may save, you know, $50 a month, maybe. If you're doing that, it's just not going to have the dent. Whereas if you were to use that same $10,000 and spend that on eliminating your closing costs, that's immediate money that you would save in real time. You would feel that. Same way with paying down your interest rate. If you were to take all that money and pay down your interest rate to get you from, let's say, a 7 to mid 5s, you would feel that, right? So it's almost always going to be a better situation to have that cost be either for closing cost or for your interest rate. The only time that I would say it would probably make sense to go off the house price is if you are swinging for the fences and a house that you want is just outside of your range, which I never really advise you going outside of your range. I like for you to be approved for higher and go mid-tier and then deck it out versus being at the very top of your range. But the only time that taking a price off the reduction or taking a reduction off the house price would make sense is if maybe you're priced out, maybe you're approved at $750 and the house that you want is $760. Then I would say use some of that money to get it to the price range where you're approved and then use the rest for closing costs. But I would almost, if we were in that situation in real life like I often am, I typically tell my clients to go down so they're not stressed out, because you never want to be house poor. You never want to be at the max of what you can afford. It's just not a good situation that you want to put yourself and your family in with how things just kind of are in today's world with the cost of things, right? So that's what I would say. 25K flex, that is pretty high. Now for Perry, that is pretty standard for many builders here. I know Highland Homes does that frequently. I know Newmark Homes does that frequently. Weston Homes will typically give you somewhere in that 15 to 25-ish kind of range also, so it's not uncommon for them. Perry, being probably the most well-known Texas builder, typically are a little bit more stingy with their help. And for example, that doesn't mention any design center, so that would be something that we would probably try to have to negotiate as well if we were going to use their financing to get the lower incentive. Which, another thing, all of this is kind of tied to using their in-house lender. So, you know, getting your credit union that may have a zero down product or something that makes sense for them to offer you, you would not also be able to stack this incentive on top of it. It's just not common in today's market, especially in a community like this where things appear to be selling pretty fast. It looks like I'm seeing people that have moved in here in different sections. It looks like they're starting a new section, so they're not having a struggle with selling anything over here, just from what I can tell. So I would say that it's going to be unlikely to come pre-approved with someone else and get their incentives. But that is the video for the day, man. I think we got some beautiful houses over here. I love what Pulte has done. This is a very pretty Perry home. And for this price being around 660 base for the square footage that you're getting, that's a pretty good deal. That's a pretty good deal as well. Now I'll say this, in comparison to Meridiana, I think we might have them a little bit on price for houses that are around this size, but because at 630 base for a Highland Plan like 222, I believe I think it's 650K for the Highland Plan 224. And I believe the 220 is a little bit lower than that. So there's plans in Meridiana that would be a little bit less expensive. But currently, if you wanted to be over here and have the property taxes that you have of under 3%, 2.88 to be exact, if you wanted that and to be not in the middle of nowhere, then that's hard to beat, right? That's really hard to beat. But is it enough to pull you out of the bigger, more well-known communities like Cane Island, like Ellison, to pull you over here into a smaller, little bit more boutique community like Katy Court? Is it enough for you?